Hello, g'day mate, apa kabar? Welcome to the Orang Putih Kita show. This is the very first episode of the Orang Putih Kita show, and on this episode we're going to be discussing Sabah's growing content or growing creative industry. With the rise of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, many people are looking for new creative ways to grow their channels, to make good content. So before I introduce our guests, let's cue the intro.
Hey, samalah kita. Hey, orang putih kita ba.
All right, welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
on today's show we have Elvin Romeo,
Hi.
we have Clare,
Hello.
and Shamil.
Hello.
I really appreciate you guys coming along, especially for this first episode. Sorry, we had a bit of delay getting started, but
It's okay.
that's expected. But especially Elvin and Adam, I consider you both friends, so I really appreciate having you on, especially for this topic. Yeah. Yeah. So it's you both have been around, like your YouTube channels are growing quite strong. And then we have Clare as well, which last minute I invited here, who
Yeah.
also does ASMR. Yeah. Yeah. So I actually had never met Clare before. Yeah, it was originally I had tried to invite other guests on the show, and then I was looking for Sabahan female content creators, and it was actually increasingly difficult to find. So that's another thing I'm hoping that we can discuss today, why that is the case. Yeah, but first I just want you to kind of talk about what you've been up to lately, introduce yourselves. Maybe Adam, I know you just released a new song.
Yep.
Mansao.
Mansao.
How's that going?
The response have been quite overwhelming, really. We are amassing hopefully 1 million views by the end of this week. So I'm very
Yeah.
happy and grateful that people could actually accept the song.
Congrats,
that's-
man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I saw you just passed 100K.
I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit
Elvin
too late.
also 100K.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Congrats,
got to be
Elvin.
exciting, yeah.
Silver play button really soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I noticed you had a huge reaction to your new song,
Right.
and especially with I think a lot of that probably contributed to TikTok as well. I see a lot of people TikToking.
Right.
Yeah. Was that deliberate that you included that into your strategy?
Well, you
releasing?
see, I make all sorts of content. You see, I make dance videos as well. TikTok. I've just ventured into TikTok just a couple of weeks ago. So I decided to, like me and my friends were in my studio. So I decided that, we share one common interest, which was dancing. So I thought, we decided to come up with a video, and it got like 500,000 views in like a million views in total, both on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok as well.
Wow.
So that it was really unexpected lah. So
Wow.
yeah, really grateful as well.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I've noticed
Yeah.
it everywhere. Yeah, I think it was the right timing as well, because you released it like around Kaamatan.
Which
Er-
one are you referring to? Are you referring to Mansao?
your song, Mansao.
Oh,
yeah.
Mansao, yeah.
Yeah, the song, because it was like around Kaamatan, everyone locked
Right.
inside.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's just unfortunate that we couldn't physically celebrate Kamatan this year due to the current,
Yeah.
pandemic.
Unfortunate and frustrating.
Yeah. that is
How's all of you can give your input. How have you been throughout this pandemic? We're shooting the show now, like post MCO. So have you found that actually improved your content, like your viewership and your channel?
Actually, I'd say yes, because now I have a lot of time to actually upload twice a week this time
Oh,
when
wow.
MCO started. But then view-wise, I think I can say it's pretty much the same. There hasn't been like an increase or a decrease. So it's pretty much same for me lah.
Yeah, I have noticed. Like, I had a look through your channel, and I noticed a lot of people commenting like they're watching it during MCO, or they're locked in lockdown. They're like, "This is great for lockdown." Staring at the content, I think it was. There's like a huge rise in content creators during this MCO, or
Yeah.
people wanting to experiment with content creating, and there's a lot of content influx, but there's also a huge consumption of content during this time. I know I had nothing else to do, so it was like either Netflix or YouTube or yeah. So I guess like a lot of people they see you guys with your channels have grown, like now hit 100K, Clare 350K. That's
Wow.
insane. So a lot of people like who are struggling out, they're trying to start the first question always is like, how do you do it? How do you get started? You know, how do I grow my channel like this? What do you say to that?
Oh, siapa nih
You
dulu?
can, Elvin.
Si Elvin dulu lah jawab.
Apa dia punya soalan? Sudah mau nervous loh, jadi
Soalan.
saya lupa.
Itu
So,
kata limpas ba tadi?
Ya.
you know, a lot of people, dorang mau tahu kan macam mana saya mau kasih besar saya punya channel, dapat follower, dapat subscriber, begitulah. So, I know you said to me earlier, can you get this question a lot? So, how do you respond to them? Like, how do you encourage them, or what advice
Advice
yang
saya.
kau boleh bagilah?
Ya.
Saya paling teruk lah kalau mau bagi advice.
Oh iya.
Tapi saya tahu lah, bagi saya orang interested mau tengok konten, kalau kau punya, if dorang find kamu, saya starter sudah, saya gagap sudah. Tapi bagi saya kalau kau punya konten tu interesting, then it will attract audience lah untuk watch kau punya video. Begitu saja.
Yeah. But interesting interesting is, it depends on the person lah. Like
Yeah.
what you find interesting. It's very subjective kan. Like for instance with Clare, I'd never explored the world of ASMR. Yeah.
You should try. It's very relaxing.
Therapeutic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
therapy.
found it incredibly intriguing. And when I looked on your channel, I was mind blown. Particularly because you guys are both very well known. I know Adam, I've known Elvin for a while, and I'd never heard of you. And you
I
have
get that a lot.
yeah. So to me it was fascinating that can have this person creating such content with so much viewership in Sabah, and no one really knows who you are, or yeah. Do you find do you have many subscribers locally that support you, or?
I do, but a huge majority of my viewers are from the US. Most of it is not in Malaysia, probably about 3% only in Malaysia. So it's understandable when people are like, huh, oh, you have so much subscribers, but I never heard of you before. And I'm like, yeah, well, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Sebab kalau local di sini macam tidak berapa interested, bah mau tengok kalau yang ASMR punya konten.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing too. Kan, there's a big difference between localized content and internationally based content, and it's trying to find that if we can bridge the gap or cross the road to have our content be entertaining locally but also have an international appeal.
Yeah.
Because that's what we want to talk about here, how to, I suppose, improve the industry in Sabah. There is a increasing rise in content producers, content creators, but there's also a rise in just influencer. Yeah, so it's trying to understand what's the difference and how to grow your channel. Do you have any stories about how you got started? What inspired you to get started into YouTube, or?
So I actually started making contents on YouTube back in 2016. I was studying at the University of Nottingham in Semenyi, Kuala Lumpur. So when I started, to cut the long story short, when I started to speak our language, our Malay our Malay dialect, right? I would always be presented with a question of, oh, are you an Indonesian, because of the way I speak? Because I tend to speak very Sabahan when I'm back in KL, kan. So I get that question a lot, to the point that, you know what, instead of coming up with an ordinary status on Facebook, I thought I'd make a video lah, and that was actually what prompted me to starting off my first episode of Get It Right. So I was very actively making contents back in 2016, and really it was really the turning point of my career. Because of that story of mine, I always be misinterpreted as an Indonesian. So I thought I make a content about it. So I guess that's the rest is history lah.
Yeah. I noticed your channel, especially early on, it's very the Get It Right series.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of things correcting misconceptions about Sabah.
Yeah.
Which it's important because I think people don't realize that even though Malaysia is one whole, as in it's a country, one country, but that divide of water is also a divide in many other ways, including in industry-wise.
Right.
Sabahans are and Sarawakians as well are kind of left on their own with not as many opportunities available, just simply because the industry or the companies, the bigger companies of the industry aren't based here. So it leaves this is why it's a fascinating thing with content and with YouTube and social media. It gives us this opportunity to create our own platforms, and to be able to reach these audiences like in America, and to have a voice, Yeah.
Right.
Did you how did you feel when your channels first started like picking up in interest or getting?
Oh, for me, when I read my first comments, I felt so motivated. Like, it felt nice. It's like, hey, this is nice. People are talking about my content and they're very supportive when I first started until now. And then, like, I can say that kept me going, like, the comments, because it was just very fun to read all of them. And they are really nice.
Did you ever expect, when you started doing this channel, did you ever expect that it would grow to such a...
No, of course not.
Yeah. It's kind of, but I think that's a nice way when, like you mentioned before, it's a hobby. You start as a hobby,
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of people strive to do what they love, for work. So if it works, then, what better job can you have? Yeah. Yeah. So, what I was hoping before we move on and talk about the industry and give our feedback and opinions is maybe you could show us, like, because this ASMR,
All right.
I've never done it, so maybe if we could bring in a microphone, especially for those at home, like we were mentioning, a lot of Sabahans don't even know about your content. Yeah, maybe you can talk us through now, like what I noticed you have like triggers. You call it triggers.
Yeah.
What are the terminology of ASMR that we should be familiar with?
In like my own words, I would say ASMR is just like a therapeutic sounds on YouTube, but it's not only sounds, they can be visuals also. Either people listen for relaxation, or just like me, I like to listen just because I like to hear the different sounds. And yeah, many other stuff like, and some people experience this thing called tingles, like tingly sensation in their body sometimes when they watch, like if someone pulls your hair, like sometimes you can feel tingly and stuff like that. Some people can experience that when they put on a pair of headphones and listen to some sounds or see people touch their face to the screen. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting experience. I think that people who never watch ASMR should definitely try. Pick up a pair of headphones, earphones, go to YouTube, ASMR, and just check it out and have a listen. That might be your next favorite thing on YouTube, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get the microphone in? Yeah, well, maybe you can talk us through it. So I'll get you to introduce on an ASMR, and then we all take turns lah. Yeah, we just have the one microphone. Yeah, it needs to be like right up close. I don't know, did they grab? I don't think we have, so we just use what, yeah. So,
Actually, there's like a replicated plant behind, which I couldn't reach, so I'm good.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Here, okay, triggers. Anything can be a trigger. Here. Okay, one for Dane.
So when you're deciding what to use, like what do you look for? What's your...
I would usually pick something up and then put it to my ear and just scratch or tap like that. Like, okay, when we do ASMR, we have to whisper. So you're gonna whisper like this and just like that. Nice and slow, like that, so you guys can give it a try. Whisper.
This is our bottle would sound. Am I doing it right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No. Very impressive. What? People like fast tapping, so that's okay. Okay. Yes. Yalten. Come very close. Okay. So, apa ni masuk ke chala? This is the sound of I don't know what's this. You can hear. It's not satisfying. It's good. You can also scratch it. How is this stopping?
So I notice you do a lot of like your mouth, right? You do like a and then you just feel the texture.
Describe the object.
So I have this colorful box here, and it's made out of papery, like reed material. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Wow.
So that's basically it. Yeah, I think we can talk normally now.
Okay. Wow. What do you think yourself is the appeal of this content? Like,
I like to listen to the sounds
You
for
like-
me, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, people use it to relax and all of
So
that.
you were naturally like drawn to the therapeutic sounds of ASMR.
Yeah, like ever since I was young, I liked listening to ASMR already. And then curiosity made me start a channel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to it every day.
And then I noticed you often involve your school friends. You have,
Yeah,
like-
because that's actually like a popular genre in ASMR where you do ASMR with other people and it's like more fast paced. It's funner that way. That one is more to not relaxation but just entertainment, like to see people shy trying ASMR. Yeah.
And I noticed that one of your videos, like, or two of your videos, have like over 6 million views.
Yeah.
What is like? When did you notice it first going viral? And did you ever expect that it would like go that insanely viral?
No, I didn't think it would go that viral, but then of course it's crazy that it did, and that video is probably the reason why I have so many subscribers now. So, shout out to my friends in that video, my ASMR gang. Yeah, wouldn't have done it without them. Yeah.
And a couple of them have gone on to start their own channel. Or,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually.
I know that-
all of them actually.
All of them.
Yeah, there were 4 other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I read a lot of the comments. A lot of people telling them they had certain favorites who should pick this one, that one. Yeah. Awesome. So that's why you've all like had this experience. You've experienced the viral nature of social media and just how quickly something can spread, the message can spread. But I guess what we want to see is like how can we use these platforms to better the local industry or in Sabah, what we see, like we were talking about, there's a physical divide between West Malaysia and Sabah, and often the opportunities that are presented. But we have this wonderful tool that we can use. What are your thoughts? Like, what is the biggest challenges you find in making it viable to live off content or creation?
Yalah.
Elvin?
Oh.
Yeah. Like
Apa soalan
what's
dia tadi?
I know kau mau buat ini full time kan? Yang kau sudah jadi full time punya content. So what's the biggest like challenges you've found in taking that jump and going to full time content?
Challenges. Challenges yang saya face kalau awal-awal time saya start buat video memang dari saya punya family lah, sebab once saya bukan bagi tahu lah, atau dorang find out yang saya make videos for YouTube ataupun di social media punya platform kan, dorang macam kinda disagree sebab apa yang saya buat macam memalukan diri saya sendiri kan. Sama dorang tidak believe apa yang saya buat, dorang tidak percaya yang I would go somewhere, dorang pun tidak tahu. So itulah, tapi saya still pegang with one word sampai sekarang yang prove them wrong. So saya pegang tu ayat sampai sekarang. So sekarang dorang macam ada percaya sikit sudahlah dengan apa yang saya buat. Sama kalau making videos memang susah lah, kalau lagi-lagi kalau yang satu orang saja manage, macam Adam pun manage satu orang saja kan. Kalau finding content memang susah lah kalau yang sendiri punya channel, unless kalau it's a team punya channel memang senang sikit lah mau cari idea. Tapi susah lah sikit sebab kalau macam saya mau start buat video dulu di YouTube, kalau boleh saya mau ada orang yang support lah. Tapi time tu saya just macam believe diri sendiri kan untuk teruskan buat apa yang saya minat. So itu sajalah.
Did you find like did that pressure ever make you consider like not going through with it, or you just
Ada masa macam mau give up lah YouTube sebab saya tengok saya punya progress macam not going anyway kan, terus ada terfikir mau quit dan just cari kerja biasa saja, a normal job macam orang-orang kawan-kawan saya yang lain juga. Tapi fikir saya punya abang yang bagi advice, dia bilang kalau kau feel like quitting, then coba kau fikir balik kenapa kau start buat video, dia bilang. Dan itu betul-betul hit saya lah. Dan terus saya decide untuk teruskan saja buat video sampai sekarang.
Yeah, I think sometimes kan that pressure is what you need to go to another level. Kan like sometimes, you know, when everyone is against you and orang tidak percaya and you know everything, and you have to prove yourself for yourself, it kind of pushes you to. And I think that's, for some reason, that's what makes a lot of people jump to the next level in their content production, in their channels, because they become like more earnest in the way that they're trying to produce their content. And I suppose the challenge is then the keeping your joy and keeping like actually enjoying it. If you have that pressure, I know for myself, like I did it for work with a company, so creating content for a company can become monotonous lah. Like you lose the joy and kind of producing it, and because you're not doing just for you, you know, what you love. Yeah, but it's great that you're doing like what you love. Yeah, and you seem to be enjoying it this far.
So far okay lah.
Yeah. How about you, Adam? Like I know your family seems quite supportive, yeah, like of your content. And even your grandma gets involved.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have you found though, like to be the biggest obstacles that you've had to like jump through?
I think to begin with, my family is very supportive, especially my mother, and not really on my grandmother's side, because you know all this while when her videos are being recorded, she actually does not know that there is a camera in front of her. When I first started lah, if she knows that there is a camera placed in front of her, she wouldn't have you wouldn't have been able to see whatever you saw on the video. So but my mom has been very supportive. She told me whatever makes you happy, pursue it lah. And of course there have been like several family members of mine who have been like criticizing like you should be doing something more professional. You should be like a lawyer, like a doctor,
Yeah.
like conform to the society. But that's not what I chose to become. I chose to become a creator instead. But I think the most challenging part of of creating content in general is being consistent, which is what I'm lacking lah.
Yeah.
When I first started in 2016, 2017, I was religiously making contents on social media. Then when I got into my third year university, really took a toll on my progress on social media. I started I used to be able to make contents like at least a video in 2 weeks. But right now, even a video on a monthly basis is already a challenge for me. So I think most importantly, aside from the fact that you have good content, you have number of subscribers, I think what would propel all of this is the fact that you continuously and religiously make content, and the numbers would come along. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is a big thing. I know Elvin has the catchphrase consistent. Yeah, it's and it's true. I think I was discussing this with Elvin the other day about the community it builds being consistent. You would notice this too, Clare. Like it builds a real community.
I very agree that consistency is key. Like me and my mom, which my mom is my number one supporter. There's a lot of times where, like Adam, his mom is number one supporter. Yeah, a lot of times, like maybe like 5 times or more already, I feel like I just want to drop this and all when I'm feeling very motivated. The numbers are very slow, also, and then my mom just tell me to keep going, and then the biggest advice I would probably say is be consistent lah, so you can build loyal audience. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've noticed that the audience they feel loyal because they feel included, like they become this kind of team. They've got the inside joke, they know what's happening. Yeah, that's why. I suppose now, like, when we talk about this being consistent, my one thing I often think about is we're experiencing this wave of huge amounts of content, and people say content is king. That's what the catchphrase, content is king. But is it really king? And what I've noticed is like there's a wave of just ridiculous content. People just making videos for the sake of making videos, just doing the most obscene or crazy things just to get attention. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, how do you ever feel pressured, or how do you make content that's true to yourself but also doesn't go to the extreme, just or do you agree with that? Do you think that that's fine? Like, if as long as kasih viral dulu, then barulah we. What's your thoughts, Adam?
I think most importantly, everything that you decide to display, that you decide to visualize in front of the camera, is a decision of yours. So whether or not it's whether a content is funny or embarrassing, it's a very subjective opinion lah. And it really depends. Like, you need to ask yourself, why do you do the things that you do? Like, for me initially, when I started making contents, it is just out of passion. I love like, literally, I really love speaking in general. I love communicating, let alone putting myself in front of the camera and just entertaining people. And then eventually I realized that, wow, it's actually a very lucrative industry. If you do things professionally, if you start making content that would bring in a lot of numbers to your content, to your channel, I think it's very lucrative. So I really couldn't answer your question, but I would say that it really depends lah. What the things that you do, is it for, do you want to turn it into your career, or do you do it just for the sake of doing it? And yeah, really.
I mean, yeah, you don't worry about like give your opinion now, because I want to see what you guys think. Like, for me, I have this kind of concern, like I often think about, because I understand like people need to make content, they want to be consistent, but then I kind of wonder about like, where is it all going to go? And for instance, like we're getting to this point where there's such a saturation of content, and it's having this effect on society. Do you know what I mean? The attention spans are getting shorter, or people, they're only interested in shock value, and then a lot of like what I would consider high quality content, or people who have content that takes a lot of time to produce gets kind of left behind, and it's I don't know where it's going to go. That's why ask for your thoughts. Like, I think it's what you said is right. Like, people have the decision to make, but I think sometimes we don't realize. It's hard to foresee into the future. Like, we're making decision based on here and now.
Yeah.
I want to make this content, and it's hard to predict the kickback or the effects, or how that will change our future representation of ourselves. Yeah. What about you? Like, what's your thoughts on making content consistent?
I would say, like, if you run out of ideas for what content to do next, you could always listen to the comments, like what your audience want. Or if you would like to try something new also, you can try it, and then you see the response from your audience. If they like it, make more of that content, I guess. And yeah,
I mean, that's a good point. You got to feed back from your team. That's your audience is becoming your team. They're your crew. They got your back. Yeah. I found that even myself, like on my social medias, if certain things that I've had, or difficult times, or people yang kasih kecam saya, you always got this team that goes in for you, goes to battle for you.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good thing to have as well. It's just a tricky, like, for me, it's a tricky field to go. Like, when I think about making my own content as well, and there's like a line where you don't want to care what anyone else thinks, but then you also do want to care. Like, it's a tricky line to juggle, to balance.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of this content and it being like these platforms is I think people are forgiving lah as well. There's a lot of room to grow and adjust. And the other good thing about when you're producing lots of content is that people forget the last one because they're only focusing on the new. So it gives people can forget and move on quickly with content. Yeah. I guess like when we're talking about content, like what there's a lot of people there focusing more on becoming an influencer rather than like just content creator. What do you guys like? What's your opinion on being an influencer over being a content creator, and which one would you prefer to be called?
Content creator.
Content creator.
Yeah, Sepun. Yeah. So like, what's your views with this new wave of people? Like, they're not really producing content. I mean, I suppose it's content, but it's more just the trying to influence, and a lot of their advertising and everything becomes like their page just becomes like an advertising page. Like, do you think it's important to I suppose balance between advertising and your content? And
Well, you can really do whatever you want on your social media. Really, it's your handle, so you can do whatever you want. But it actually, I wouldn't say it actually, to a certain extent, it actually disturbs me lah, to an extent, as I've mentioned, because some people would just create like a excuse me for my language, like a stupid content kan. And again, stupid is very subjective lah, but
Yeah.
I find those videos like make, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what defines stupid content. And suddenly they, from that very video, it amasses them like a couple of thousands of people following them on their social media. And then the next thing you know, this very person would change their status to a public figure. And they would deem themselves as like an influencer, a public figure, which really annoys me like, to a certain extent, because it really it belittles, and it also would make it seem as if like all public figures are like that. So it's like a representation of who we are, when it is not, to be honest. But people tend to be very influenced by these contents.
yeah,
But at the same time, it gives them the numbers, it gives them to an extent, money as well. So it's really difficult, to stop these people from making content that is of no value. In my opinion, it's a very subjective opinion lah. Okay, but yeah, that's what I feel lah, personally.
yeah, but don't feel you have to justify. I mean, we're after your opinion. I mean, like you said, people can do what they want.
Right.
But the reason I invite you guys is because you're doing your styles. You found your rhythm, you found your way. So you have the experience. You have an authority, so to speak, to speak on your own experience. And I think it's true. Like, yeah, people can do whatever they want. But like we have the freedom of choice,
Right,
which is something that's being debated in the world at the moment. The right to speak, but you also don't have the freedom to choose the consequences of that choice.
Right. Yeah.
And the consequences are what matters in the end. So right now everyone just is so protective of their rights. Like, oh, I have the right to do this. I have the right to say that. I have the right to do this. But then you do. You do, but you cannot choose the consequence.
Yeah. After all, the things that you do. Sorry.
Yep.
The things that you do is really like, it is a form of expression.
Yeah.
So to me, I might find it very annoying, but to himself, he might find it very, joyful, very entertaining, and it's just very difficult. Like, some people would see this content and they would like, even the videos that I make, like, while people might think that Mansau is a good song, to a few it might be a song that is like a mainstream, and people might find it boring. So I really cannot like the contents that I make as well might be deemed uninteresting to many people, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's really a form of expression.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has the right to choose, and like everyone has preferences. Like with the ASMR, like clearly there's a niche for that. There's a preference. There's a lot of people who are like really desire that, whereas a lot of us probably just don't understand it. We're like, how this, when I watched it, I was like mind blown. I was like, this video is like, I've never heard anything like it. So yeah, it is very preferential. It's like, people can choose and go on. I guess we want to see like how do you move this content in a way that makes people or encourages more content creators without like stifling out good content as well, and just flooding. My point is the point of making content for just for the sake of making content, whereas what we want to encourage is like a creative industry. Be creative, have a self-expression, you know. Let it be your expression. Don't just do it for others,
Yeah.
but do it for yourself, you know. Yeah. I know, like Elvin, kau selalu buat like content yang
Kacau hidup orang.
yeah, boleh controversial sikit kan.
Yeah.
So how do you find that? Because I know you can get like extreme kickback, or you know, and then how do you toe the line of caring about other people's opinions tapi you know doing your own thing? And
Usually kalau feedback yang saya dapatkan dari saya buat video expose orang, kecam orang, react video orang, ataupun condemn orang. Usually kalau orang bagi feedback, orang kritik saya, itu ini semua, saya tidak kisah tuh. Saya usually kasih biar saja.
yeah, sometimes you even use it to go
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you found? Like, I mean, for you that's working, kan? Like, kau rasa itu effective. You can do this content, but is there ever been a time where you feel like, oh, that's gone too far, or maybe?
Tidak tahu lah. So far bagi saya punya konten tidak yang saya rasa macam gone too far lah.
Yeah.
Ya, sebab tidak lah, bagi saya macam okay saja. Tapi cuma itulah, semua orang lain pendapat orang kan on how orang terima saya punya video, sebab ada orang suka, ada yang tidak kan.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I really enjoy watching your reaction video, and yeah, and my favorite videos is the ones that you just be silly with your friends, like Idol, and you know,
Saya ingat yang saya react
Sabah
video
cakap
TikTok kan.
KL, Sabah, yeah, but it's good.
But could I just add something? I actually made a video with my grandmother about that, and I actually have been getting quite a lot of criticisms,
Yeah.
you know, to the point that I actually had to put down that very video, but I maintained that video on Instagram lah, because there have been like a few comments that I've received, like people telling me that this is actually cyberbullying lah.
Yeah.
But I don't know lah. I find it. I didn't mention that person specifically. I just find it very funny that, you know, it happened, but you know, so I decided to take advantage of the hype, right?
Yeah.
And just got my grandmother to say Sabah, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it actually took a toll on the comments I've received, and yeah, so while I'm very apologetic about it, but at the same time I question myself lah. Like, in your very opinion lah, do you think it's a form of cyberbullying? Because I'm making a joke out of it, but I'm not actually specifically individually ridiculing that person, but you know. But again, it's a very subjective opinion lah, and it's one of those, because I hardly get criticized on social media because the contents that I make are very safe bah. You know, I don't hurt people's feeling, like, except for certain videos. Tapi that one I will be very honest with you, I got really disturbed because I didn't expect that, because I didn't think of the repercussion kan.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of DMs of people telling me to put that content down. So yeah, what is your opinion? Do you think I was like, do you think I went a little bit too far?
No, sebab saya pun ada post video on my IG.
Yeah.
Yang
Yeah, but
pasal
you just
Sabah.
reposted itu video kan?
Ya, repost ya. Sabah itu saya
Yeah,
tukar.
Yeah.
It's he
But still ada orang,
trademarked it.
but still
Yeah.
ada juga orang
Yeah,
DM
yeah.
saya suruh yang macam saya sudah gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Macam
this
saya
is
aiming
what
for
I'm
that
talking
person
about.
ni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like you post what you feel like, what you want. It's your social media, but you get the repercussion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then how it makes you question the line. So where is the line of should I listen to it or should I stand by my own principle, my virtue? If I think it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah. But what do you think, Clare?
I mean, to be honest, I don't know that issue. I didn't catch
Okay.
up with it.
3% Malaysia, remember?
Yeah, 3% Malaysia.
Mostly from America. So there is this video that was going on lah. There's this guy who mentioned Sabah as Sabah during an interview. So a lot of people, including myself, made fun of it lah. So do you think it was, was I bullying that person ka?
That doesn't sound like anything bad. It just sounds very lighthearted. So I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah. It's getting trickier. Like, do you guys find that like it's getting trickier in this climate of the world? Like, everyone's getting really sensitive about
Yeah.
everything, but then it comes to a point like you know, there is freedom of speech, and it is your own self-expression. Yeah, I think for me, there's nothing like you say Sabah, apa. Like, it's you know, and I think the guy himself didn't seem to be that upset about all the.
Yeah, I think he should be happy, right?
Yeah.
That the word went viral. He could have, took advantage of the hype and turned it into like a, like business ka, jual baju, Sabah.
Exactly. I think
don't know.
this is an interesting point what you just said. Like, actually, negative can always be turned positive.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it right, can. It's a marketing strategy. As long but then that's where a lot of people exploit that for, say, controversial content, just to turn a negative, and then they terus make it positive. In the future, they hope that people will stay following them or whatever. Yeah, but it's interesting to see how I always find it fascinating to find out how to balance the people opinion versus your self-expression. Yeah. So what I also want to talk to you guys about is like being. I think in this industry, especially in Sabah, it makes you, with the limited opportunities, you have to be competitive, right? Yeah, like you have to have this competitiveness. So, how can we encourage people to have this healthy competition, but also be collaborative in spirit?
By creating fake drama.
Fake drama. Contoh?
Suggestion jatuh.
Yeah, I think Malaysia loves the drama, like they love. It's kind of like the reverse effect from the rest of the world right now. Like in America, and that they have this cancel culture, whereas if you say something, everyone will just cancel, unsubscribe, everything. Here, if you do something in Malaysia, you like followers go through the roof. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I think. How like do you guys ever reach out to like some smaller content creators and try and help them to like through collaboration, or is that something you suggest, you recommend?
Kalau saya adalah collaborate dengan small YouTubers. Memang ada Wzzup dorang punya YouTube lah.
Yeah.
You know Leon kan?
Yeah.
Ya. Memang Wzzup lah dia punya YouTube channel. Is 10K kah sudah?
Wah.
From?
Sini juga.
No, I mean dari berapa? Dari berapa dia punya number of subscribers?
Sikit.
654
wow.
something.
Yeah. I like the way you guys kind of teamed up and worked together, and you collaborated. You did those few videos about pickup lines. Yeah. Yeah, it's good content. So that's like the localized kind of way. I think what I want to know, where do you see the future of content, or like the creative industry here in Sabah? How do you think we can improve it and make it to grow, to be like inclusive and to encourage more creators? And
Claire,
do you have any idea?
No, not at the moment. I don't.
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
Like when you started Clare, you did it as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of turning it into a career, or?
No, I think it'll just be like a hobby for me. Yeah, I'm gonna do it forever, but then as a hobby, I wouldn't like depend on it lah, cause the can be pretty unstable by the rates.
But you're like you said you wanted to study earlier. You were gonna study, what is it, biology or
Biomedical science.
biomedical science? Wow, yeah. But I think even that is going to be content in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. You can either like both Adam, Elvin. Adam, would you consider yourself a full-time content creator? Like, you have your restaurant as well.
Yeah. Like of the three of them, I am the guy who makes content the least lah. Very honestly, like Elvin would. I'm very inspired by his, like diligence of being able to, and his consistency of being able to create contents very religiously. Like, I have to have a talk with him lah, how he does that lah. But I would say that I would consider myself as a full-time content creator because I've been living off of YouTube and off of not off YouTube actually, of making contents on social media. I've been able to put food on the table through making contents for 4 years now, and I'm just very grateful lah that I'm able to support my family through making contents on social media. Really, not just mainly through my, I don't make much on YouTube, to be very honest, but I make out of living through making contents, for clients and campaigns,
brand deals,
working with brands overseas and all of that. Yeah. I went silent for a few seconds. I didn't know
That's
what
fine.
happened.
So Clare, you
I
would
need
have
to
seen
drink
yourself.
one
I mean, the potential though, like having an international following, and plus the YouTube, the way they rate the content or the advertising, its rates are higher when it's in international, like especially in America. Yeah. So, do you think it'll be like you could view it as a second income, something that you could do, like continue?
Oh, you mean the YouTube?
Yeah,
the second
YouTube.
income? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You definitely have goals to like continue and.
Yeah. I want to continue this forever if possible.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's what I like particularly about like the ASMR is you find a niche, and even with Elvin, you all found a niche. Like Elvin does a kind of PewDiePie style, but he found a niche in the way that he's able to localize that content, and your niche, with Get It Right and the Sabahan style. Yeah. So, like, how do you think people can find their niche, their rhythm? Do you have like an idea?
I'm actually still trying to find my identity because I think I would say that I'm still like lost. Like if you look at Elvin, he's very specific with the videos that his directions are very clear, right? But I tend to do everything. I tend to venture into music. I tend to venture into so many different things. Demi sesuap nasi. Gitu lagi. Yeah, but I think I'm still finding my very identity. What really represents me? What do I enjoy doing? And I think if I could give a piece of advice to upcoming creators, uprising creators, that would be to do as many things as possible and to eventually ask yourself whether you enjoy doing it. And if you do, keep following your passion
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Clare mentioned before too, like you feel the feedback,
Yeah.
you feel the feedback of the people who are watching your content, and they can help you to kind of shape and grow.
Right.
But I think like Adam, like content naturally evolves. You naturally evolve. Like even as you get older, your content has to naturally evolve. And your audience is also getting older with you.
Yeah.
Like so, it's but there is a lot of value in getting that. Finding that voice, that niche that gets people to stay loyal member, consistent. Yeah. You mentioned about music, and I know Elvin also. You're doing music. You've released a new song, and you have one on the way.
Yeah, on the way.
On the way.
Coming next week.
Yeah.
I think it's next week.
So your most recent one was Kosong, yeah.
Yeah, Kosong.
So you guys feel like what I kind of feel though is like you're both very talented, but the industry, like having these limited opportunities, do you think that's what forces you also to like Adam, you're saying like you do lots of different things? Do you think that's a result of the industry in Sabah? Like you're forced to kind of not just stay, but do lots of different types of content, lots of different types of entertainment?
I think I do it because I love doing it. I don't really, if I'll be very honest, I'm not driven by what the society perceives, but more specifically because I enjoy doing it. Like I've always loved singing. Ever since, like even way before I started creating content, my hobby and my passion has always been expressing myself through music. So I think music is also one of the many things that I do, aside from making content on YouTube, running a restaurant of mine, doing emceeing here and there.
Yeah.
So I think it's also because of the fact that I have the capability of doing it. Yeah. So, which is, I feel that it's an advantage of us lah.
Yeah, it's good, and it kind of broadens your options as well.
Yeah.
Like when we're talking about having more opportunities in Sabah, what I've noticed is that you often create your own opportunities as
Yeah.
well. And that's the difference between some people who might be inclined to just sit back and feel like there is no options. Well, often we can create our own. We
Yeah.
push our own boundaries, see where our own interests are, and just follow them. Elvin, what got you into music? Like, what made you? Kenapa kau mau buat lagu?
Like betul saya minat singing dari Form 5 2013.
Yeah.
Time saya masih sekolah lagi. Dan tapi itu just untuk suka-suka lah. Tapi masuk 2014 kononnya saya serius lah menyanyi. Dan masuk 2015 saya tidak tahu lah kalau kamu percaya, tapi saya pernah try audition for Academy Fantasia. Ya. Dorang ada 4 stage, tapi saya manage to get sampai stage 2 saja kah. So dari start sana saya just stop sebab saya didn't make it kan. So saya stop nyanyi lah.
Yeah, but then you somehow got the
Sebab John approach.
John.
Yeah, you wanna make music kah? Okay, jom.
Wow. No, it's good. I really enjoy it. And what's good is you have like a unique style. Like it's very listenable music. Very chill. Yeah. So what about you, Claire? Like, is there Selene ASMR? You have any other interest? Anything that you're considering like expanding into content wise?
Not really, actually. I
Not
just
really?
focus on one thing because I don't think I can. I'm not the type of person who can focus on a lot of things at one time, so I have to focus on one thing.
Yeah, there's value in that too. Like just focusing, sharpening, honing one skill, and yeah. But yeah, I've noticed like watching your channel, like the evolution as well of it's amazing even with one thing. Like if you just take ASMR, how you can perfect it and get better and better and better. Everything has room for improvement. Yeah. So what about like other social media platforms? Now we have this like rise of TikTok, and the Instagram has evolved a lot. There's so many different types. There's Twitch for like streamers. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on these platforms? And should content creators be embracing every platform, or should they be like focusing on one, or like?
Saya terpulang sama dorang lah. If dorang mau hentam semua platform, terpulang sama dorang lah.
Yeah. Do you see value in that? Like, or what? Like, personally, your opinion. Like, would you recommend like trying to grow every platform at once, or is there value in that, or would you try and just focus on the one platform, maybe YouTube or Instagram?
Tidak tahu lah, kalau bagi saya macam saya akan pilih platform yang besar lah, such as macam TikTok, Twitch. Saya akan go for yang itulah.
Have you ever considered TikTok, or do you have a TikTok?
No, but then I do consider starting ASMR Twitch account
Oh.
one day, maybe after my studies, because streaming, I would like to stream ASMR for a few hours, maybe on Twitch. I've thought about that for like a year already, but I never actually start. But one day, it's an
One day.
ongoing project.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, I started already.
Oh yeah.
Started TikTok already.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. You got like this diverse, different platforms, and sometimes I find like one piggybacks off the other. If content does well on one platform, often it can shotgun the next platform. So there is value sometimes in having it. But I personally find it exhausting having like lots and lots of social media accounts, like different platforms, and it depends on your content. I've been like wondering how. I haven't checked actually, but how ASMR would work on TikTok, because it's like short clips, but you can play your triggers and
Yeah, I've seen them. They're not too popular,
not
but
too
then
popular.
they're there, but not that popular on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Have you explored Twitch? You mentioned Twitch. Like, have you seen others?
Yeah, there's
Artists on Twitch?
plenty of ASMR streamers on Twitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it like gaming as well, like where they just stream themselves gaming? Is it the same how it would work with
Yeah, you just like
SMR?
like like your usual filming but live. That's all.
Oh wow. Okay.
So,
Very exhausting, kan?
Well, I mean, it's
Especially if
I
you're-
guess it'll be easier than like Elvin's type of content, which requires a lot of creativity. So still, ASMR is pretty simple, but also a good type of content.
But it's
Yeah.
also a form of creativity, actually.
Yeah. it
Yeah.
is.
I would struggle to do
Yeah.
what she does. Like, yeah, Claire, I really admire. Like, and you come up with new things or new ideas all the time. I suppose could be an interesting element in doing it live, because people can give suggestions. They can
Yeah.
ask for the triggers that they want, and yeah, there's
Exactly.
you can feedback on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found there's a lot of value, and I think most platforms have explored that. They see the value in doing live, and that's why Instagram and Facebook all switched, that they kind of prioritize that kind of content. But it gives us such a unique platform to talk directly with our audience, and I think when we're talking about building community, that's definitely one way. Yeah. So what next? Like, do you guys have any future plans, projects for yourself or for like the community that you're planning to do with content? Anything exciting on the...
I'd say for me now, the thing I'm working on now is because soon I'm gonna start going to college, so I'm gonna have to find out how I will continue to record
Yeah.
in college, especially because I'm going to an asrama, so it's not really that free. So yeah, lah, that's my project I'm working on now. How to still be consistent during college.
Yeah, but I love that you're thinking of it rather than just like, oh, I'll drop it for college, but you're actually thinking of how to keep keep your content going, keep it consistent. I'm sure your subscribers would appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I can't just abandon them.
Then you can do ASMR in uni, ASMR while studying.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of opportunities. Yeah. How about you, Adam? Anything exciting, and any new songs? Anything on the horizon?
If everything runs smoothly, I might also be releasing my first English single next
Oh
month.
wow!
Yeah, mungkin lah, belum tentu lagi. And the second thing is I'm definitely right now focusing on developing my studio, growing my team, because I realize that it's going to be very challenging if I decide to if I definitely need a team if I were to grow this platform, definitely. And I'm working on my way towards hiring a few interns already, and I'm also working very closely with my videographer. So we are intending to come up with like a weekly vlog lah, like if it's possible. And also I am also going to be launching like a podcast, but not really. But we are specifically going to talk about like cerita hantu.
Oh
Yeah, like ghost stories.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we will be inviting like guests to the show, to my studio, to be sharing their like their personal experiences lah.
And I think especially a lot of locals love that kind of content.
Yeah, but like as a whole, I am definitely intending to continue making content on social media. I hope to be more consistent,
Yeah.
and to be able to upload videos more regularly, and most importantly more consistently, so that like Claire has mentioned, so that I will not I will not abandon the people who has been following my journey over the years.
Yeah, that's good, man. I love your like, I've seen the clips of and I watched the video. You did like a walkthrough of your studio as well. So it's great. You've got the direction and the focus. So I think that's good too. I mean, when we talk about planning and consistency, or having consistent videos, people forget about the planning stage.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to take a bit of time, right, to plan and to think of your direction. So
Yeah.
keep it up, man. It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Elvin, you got anything new on the horizon?
Ya, saya mungkin simple je. Saya mungkin teruskan buat video saja sebab saya kasih jadi saya punya YouTube ni sebab kasih jadi saya punya main job kan, main career. Also maybe saya akan fokus more on music juga. So keep it balanced lah, making content sama making music. And hopefully maybe one day someday lah build saya punya own house lah. Itu saya punya kira planning sekarang.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. Like, I really appreciate again you coming along. For me, this is a new concept as well. This is one of my first shows, and this is my attempt to making more regular content as well. So I appreciate the support, and it's what I really love is what we're talking about here. Like in Sabah, we do have a very supportive spirit. You know, there's a lot of everyone trying to work together, and we can get that advice. So, yeah, keep up with the great work. Keep up with the ASMR. That's awesome, and hopefully we can all find ways to collaborate as well in the future. That would be great. Yeah, but I really appreciate it. So. Thank you guys who are watching or listening to the show. Make sure you follow these guys on their social media. So Elvin, you can find on Elvin Romeo at YouTube and Instagram. Instagram Elvin Ben Ben.
Yeah, Elvin Ben Ben.
Yeah, Clare, Clare ASMR Clare with 3 E's, right?
Yeah.
Clare with 3 E's ASMR on YouTube. She also has Instagram
Yeah.
_Clare.
Claire Levis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you find her on Instagram and YouTube. Same with Adam. And you have TikTok as well.
Yeah.
So everything's Adam Shamil, yeah?
Everything
Yeah.
is Adam Shamil.
Everything Adam Shamil, well branded. So make sure you follow these guys, support them, subscribe to their content. Also make sure you support Wzzup Borneo, which is helping to produce these shows as well as my show. You can find it on YouTube, Instagram, and you can find me, Orang Putih Kita, on most social media as well. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming
Thank you
along
so
and
much for
supporting
having
the
us.
show.
Really appreciate it.
And keep up the good work. All the best with the future.
Congratulations on your new show as well.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, sama lah kita